What's up, everybody? It's your boy Billy Mack. We are here once again. Another movie review for you. I'm reviewing Us, the new movie from Jordan Peele, the new horror flick from Jordan Peele. Same guy that brought you Get Out. I am a big Jordan Peele fan. If you don't watch Key and Peele, if you have never watched Key and Peele, any of the skits from Key and Peele, please go to YouTube. Or you're already on YouTube. After you watch this video, watch my other videos, and then watch some clips of Key and Peele. Second coming of the Dave Chappelle show. I mean, the only difference is Dave Chappelle had a name, so a lot of people tuned in because it was Dave Chappelle. A lot of people didn't watch Key and Peele, simply because they didn't know who Key and Peele was. Um, Key and Peele, they came from Mad TV, and at that time I had stopped watching Mad TV, and I'm a Mad TV fan, but like when a lot of the main alumni, Deborah Wilson, Phil Lamar, Michael McDonald, it seemed like when they weren't on there as much anymore, Will Sasso, when those guys weren't on there anymore, I stopped watching. I think her name was Nicole Sullivan. Um, yeah, man, when a lot of them weren't on the show no more, I stopped watching Mad TV. It wasn't as funny anymore. But, you know, lo and behold, they had Key and Peele on there. And then Key and Peele ended up getting their own show. And it was awesome. But, needless to say, the movie review of Us. Now, little humble brag, I took notes during the movie. Oh, the spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, I am spoiling the movie. If you don't want to be spoiled, please turn this video off. But yeah. So as you can see, I took notes. And within the first actually the second note, I say, you know, the mother and the father in therapy. I believe Addie was switched as a little girl, and basically that's what happened. So I love movies like this. I love movies when there's a twist, when there's a, I guess you could say there's an inside story to the any movie where I have to figure out what's going on. I love movies like that. So I'm basically gonna go through my notes and go through the whole movie like I did with Captain Marvel. I'm gonna spoil some of the movie, but I'm not gonna actually give every single detail. I'm just because like me, I can go to Wikipedia and read the plot of a movie. Excuse me, and read the plot of a movie, but I'll still go watch the movie and still be amazed by um, what happened. So, first note here is Jeremiah 11:11. As I go to my trusty Bible app by you version, which everyone should have. Amen. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna go to Jeremiah, which is in the Old Testament. Jeremiah 11:11. And of course, even though I had my phone on me and I was taking notes, it wasn't like I could just go to this verse because I was scared I might miss something in the movie. And sure enough, after you saw that verse, that's when I, like, maybe 5 minutes into after that part, I saw the part that I'll get to next. But Jeremiah 11:11 says, "Therefore thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them." Basically talking about the rapture, the end days, and that notion. So, yeah. So basically, the movie starts out with old school commercials. The beginning of the movie is set in 1986. A I wonder if me. I was born in 1986, so I wonder if me and Lupita Nyong'o are the same age. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yeah. So they're showing these old school commercials from 1986, which she was sitting there watching. Actually, no, I take that back. She wasn't. She was watching them, which means she was born before 1986. But anyway, so they're at the circus. She's walking with her mother and father, or yeah, she's walking with her mother and father. Um, seeing this is a situation where I don't think they're married. I think they're separated, but I guess every so often they get together for the child or whatnot. So the mother goes to the bathroom. The father ends up playing whack a mole. She wanders off. Um, I guess she was a curious child back then. I don't know why. I know black kids. Mama say don't move. That's what the heck you do. You don't move. But either way, so she goes to this mirror house and she basically runs into her doppelganger, and the movie cuts off from there. That scene cuts from there basically. So then we get to the next scene, which is her mother and father. They're in therapy. The therapist says she has PTSD, which is post traumatic stress syndrome. And the mother specifically, this is what I like about Jordan Peele. In Get Out, if you remember, there was a part in the movie when I think his name Daniel Kaluuya's character name was Chris. I think Chris and Rose's father, uh, Mr. Armitage or whatever his name was, he's basically showing them around the house, and they get to the picture of his grandfather racing Jesse Owens, and it's such a subtle piece. It's such a subtle quote, but it lets you. It basically gives away kind of what's going on, what might be going on, what could be going on, and his quote was basically, "Yeah, my father lost to Jesse Owens, and he said it so subtly, and he almost got over it." What do you mean he almost got over it? That's a very weird thing to say about someone who's supposedly dead. He almost got over it. So I remember me and my wife went to go see Get Out at the theater, and that really stuck out to me, and I didn't know what it meant until the big reveal at the end of the movie, and it's like, oh, okay, okay, that's what he meant by almost got over it, but it is what it is. So in this scene, the therapist basically says that she believes their daughter has PTSD, and the mother emphatically, emotionally says, "I just want my daughter back." Simple, simple reference, simple quote. I mean, for lack of a better phrase, that's something a woman would say. And I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna do a mycology on that. Women, y'all need to learn to say what you mean. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times y'all like to put stuff in one big bucket, and you can't. Especially if you want us men to understand. So when she says something along the lines of, "I just want my daughter back," what exactly are you saying? Your daughter's right there. She's sitting right there. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the therapist is basically equating that the stress that she had when she went to the stress that she had when she went to the mirror house and saw her doppelganger is enough stress to cause post traumatic stress syndrome, and therefore bring on the symptoms of post traumatic stress syndrome, especially in children. One of the main symptoms in children could nightmares, of course, not being able to communicate due to the trauma of the situation. Let me reiterate. I am not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just going off the top of the dome, okay? So that's just, but basically when she made that statement, I just want my daughter back, bingo, I knew, okay, she was switched in that mirror room. So then we cut to the family vacationing to Santa Cruz. Um, as the family is interacting with each other, the next note I wrote was something's wrong with the boy. Now there is a theory that the boy was switched too, but he was switched, I guess, maybe a year or two ago, because they later bring up in the movie how the last time they came here was for the grandmother's funeral, and supposedly the grandmother was real close to the boy. But then also the boy, um, throughout the movie, he's messing around with this thing, and he's talking about it's a magic trick, and he doesn't know, he can't remember, he can't remember how it worked, but he remember having it last year. Listen, man, and if you really look at it, it looks like it's like a ring, but it looks like the spark thing that's on lighter, like on a lighter, and I still, that's just theory. This is just all theory. I'm not sure. I'm not even aware, but that's what people are saying. But there's definitely something wrong with the boy, because even when he would talk, he was cussing, just letting out cuss words, like, and even the mother and the father are both like, "Hey, man, like, what? Where did you learn that? Like, what?" I mean, and he said it so naturally, which is, I mean, great acting by the little boy. I wish I knew his name. I want to give him his props. Um, so they get to the house. They're all eating and gathering, having a good time. And Winston Duke's character is the father. He wants to go back to the beach. Lupita Nyong'o's character, Addie, she does not want to go back to that beach. She knows what's at that beach. Um, So yeah, but he ends up talking her into going back to the beach. So yeah, he ends up talking her into going back to the beach. Jason runs off, and she's overkill about it. Like, where did you go? Why did you? Yeah, all he did was go to the bathroom. He went to the bathroom for like 2 seconds, and she lost her mind about it. So so that happens. Of course, the twins of the white family that they meet there, they have twins, and the twins go to the older daughter. I cannot remember her name. They go to the older daughter, and they're basically like, "Your brother is weird," and another indication that he was probably switched. There is one more indication that he was probably switched. I missed it, but going watching YouTube videos and reading other comments and commentaries, um, hey man, it still fits. But I'll let you all um, figure that out for yourselves. So I switched a lot. Okay, so they go back to the home. They start getting ready for bed or whatever. She finally reveals to her husband that about how she saw a doppelganger when she was younger. Little underwhelming. I was like, okay, this part. I expected this part to be a little more towards the climax, like after the doppelgangers come, and she tells the husband, I did see a doppelganger when I was real little, but she gave it to him earlier. I don't know what Jordan was trying to do there. I don't know what Jordan Peele was trying to do there um, with that move. It is what it is. Obviously, he's a writer and I'm not. Even though I do want to be a writer one day, I want to write TV shows and movies. But anyway, um, holding hand. Okay, so I noticed when they were in the driveway, they were holding hands. This immediately went back to one of the old commercials that were shown at the very beginning of the movie, which was the Hands of America commercial. So I was like, okay, so that's obviously something that's canon. We need to figure out what that's all about. The doppelgangers. Another clue, and this is the one clue that I feel like a lot of people missed. If you should have known they were switched, you should have known when they were switched by this one clue. And none of the movie reviews, none of the comments and commentary I saw have said this. But it's the simplest thing. Old girl, her doppelganger, was able to talk. None of the other doppelgangers were able to talk. In fact, it seemed like they could almost communicate with animals in a way. None of the other doppelgangers could talk. She was the only one that could talk. Why is that? Maybe because she knew how to talk from the get-go. Because she was switched. She's the original Adelie, and then the one with the family and the one that's being terrorized is the actual doppelganger. That should have that I mean that was that's the clue that should have gave it away. She was able to talk. None of the other ones could talk, but all of a sudden she could. That was when I was like when that happened. That's what I immediately said to myself. Like she can talk. You know what I mean? Like, and then not only could she talk, but she could barely talk. And she also mentions all they did was basically eat on rabbits. You know what I mean? That was their own raw rabbits. That was their only source of eating down there. Not to mention there must not be any water. So for her voice to be that to crack that much and be that dry, that lets you know, hey, yeah, man. So, needless to say, the horror ensues. I'm not gonna go into all the things. Basically, the doppelgangers they take one of each. The father takes the father, the daughter takes the daughter, the son takes the son. She takes Adelie. Um, yeah. So the thing that makes this a horror movie, I want everybody to understand this. The thing that there are two things that make this a horror movie, and I was telling a friend of mine, I didn't really get. There weren't any jump scares. So if you're a guy who has a girlfriend, wife, or whatever that don't really do scary movies, but they're kind of okay with seeing blood and gore and violence, they're okay with that. You can go see this movie. There aren't any really jump scares. Like, it's none of that really going on in the movie. So feel free to take your significant other. That's just my opinion. Would I take my wife if she wants to see it? I don't like to take my wife to movies she don't want to see because it's gonna be an issue. But anyway, so here's the thing. Now, when this movie was first announced, and it was called Us, I immediately thought United States. That's what I immediately thought. I was like, this movie has a double meaning. Then when the trailer finally came out and I noticed it was about doppelgangers, I was like, okay, that's why it's called Us, because it's us. But if you really dive deep, if you want to dive deep into this, the United States, the way the doppelgangers took over, the way they took over. You think about slavery. They just went to Africa and just started taking slaves. And then they brought them over here to America and they took over the land. It's just the way, and it was like they were mindless. They had no, they knew it was almost like, just like America, they would kill their counterparts and then they would go stand in a line holding hands as if what they were doing was the right thing to do. Like, this is America. You know, we gonna do some messed up stuff, but ultimately we're gonna show you that we're good people. Nah, bruh. I see what you're doing, Jordan Peele. I see what you're doing, and I like it. Keep up the good work. That's my dude right there. I love Jordan Peele, y'all. One more thing. One more thing. There's a part when I guess when the two Adeline's were talking, and she talks about the dance, how she was dancing and everything. Now, earlier in the movie, in the beach scene, Adeline says that she didn't dance anymore. She didn't really like it. But the dancing is kind of what gave the Adeline that was switched, who was down in the tunnels. The dancing kind of gave her life. It gave her meaning. So I don't know what the significance. There's definitely a significance in that dance, almost as if she was freed from the mind control. Because the way they showed all the other doppelgangers, basically whatever was happening up on the surface happened down at the bottom, but worse. You know what I mean? She explained it. She was like, basically, while you were in a hospital, probably had epidural and everything like that, I was giving birth in pain and this, that, and the other. And then, when I had the son, while your birth went pretty well, I had to literally cut my own self open and give my own self a C-section, this, that, and the other. And, she was, so basically everything that happened on the surface was happening down below, but worse. So that's just crazy. So, but when the dance happened, when she danced, and it's kind of crazy. I think the reason when she danced, the doppelganger in the tunnels, the reason I think she danced, it gave her life, is because if you notice at the very end when they come to a head and they're battling each other, the doppelganger Adeline, or the one that was switched, the one that had been in the tunnels the whole time, she was more coordinated. She moved like a regular person. The other Adeline was just all over the place, flailing. There was no coordination to her movements at all. You know what I mean? It almost screams like there's an imperfection there. You know what I mean? So, but for anybody that knows the significance of the dancing, please let me know. Please comment and let me know what you think the significance of the dance, because that definitely was a point of contention that I think Jordan Peele want to mention. Because even when he was doing the flashbacks, and it was showing both Adeline's dancing, one dancing in the tunnels and the other one actually dancing on stage, it seemed like, this is just from looking at it, the one that was dancing in the tunnel was dancing a whole lot better than the one that was dancing on stage. And that might be why she stopped dancing when when she was the Adderley that was on the surface. That might be the reason why she was dancing, even though the white friend made a comment basically saying, "You were such a good dancer. Why did you stop dancing?" And she basically pointed to her thighs, saying, "These legs can't move like they used to," kind of thing going on. Or she got older. Either whatever you want to take it as. But uh, long story short, they end up, Frey, give it up to Jordan Peele. He made it a point of contention. The white people were gonna die, and the black people were gonna live. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm happy. Hey, I'm all for that, man. Shout out to Jordan Peele because he said that in an interview. They asked him, I think they asked him like, "What's the one horror trope that you don't like?" And I think he said the number one is the dark and gloomy. He does, if he's gonna make a horror movie, he wants to make a horror movie that is that we can more relate to, because especially us as black folk, if we go somewhere and it's dark, it's gloomy, there's lightning in the background, and some old person comes out the door. "Oh, would you like to stay in my mansion today?" No, hell no, no, no. Man, turn this car around. Let's go find a Motel 6 or something. Man, I ain't staying in this house with this weird old man. White folks, he seems like a nice guy. So he was like, "Listen, man, that horror trope is done." But he also mentioned, "I'm getting sick and tired of the African American person basically being, you know, just taken out like they don't mean anything." And he did that in this movie. He did that in this movie. You know what I mean? So shout outs to Jordan Peele for that. I really appreciate him for that. But like I said, this is I gave y'all some spoilers. I didn't spoil the whole movie, what actually happens, everything that's really going on, or maybe I did. I don't know. I don't care. Um, and go see the movie. Go support your boy. He's doing real well. And like I said, he is he. I love Jordan Peele, man. I love his writing. I love Key and Peele. So um, go see us. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, the whole nine. It's your boy Billy Mack.